Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to discuss the supernatural elements in Macbeth. Let's start. Supernaturalism in Macbeth is not an adventitious, irrelevant thing introduced by the dramatist for the purpose of satisfying the whim of a king or the prejudice of his audience. It is an inseparable part of the drama. Without it, it would be incomplete as a work of art. Nay, without the supernaturalness, the drama would have been impossible. When Shakespeare wrote his drama for the English stage, the world was not advanced as we see it today. Many of Shakespeare's patrons, s- especially the groundlings, believed in supernatural. Shakespeare could not underestimate their feelings, and in almost all his plays, he come across certain element of supernaturalism. In Macbeth, the supernatural consists of three witches, the evil portents, and the ghost of Banquo. The three weird sisters introduce the play, which also end with their reference. In the opening scene, we see the witches hovering and conferring in the storm and rain. They are planning how to deal with their victim, Macbeth and Banquo, who will be coming this way after their battle in Fife is over. Their pithy and succinct couplet, fair is foul, foul is fair, hover through the fog and fill the air, virtually brings the play into motion. So practically nothing is said clearly. We are told of a battle that is going, but not of contending parties involved in it. The Weird Sisters' purpose is to meet Macbeth. Of Macbeth, we are told nothing except the mention of his name. We do not know the motives of the Weird Sisters in deciding to meet him. All things are very much vague and very much smoky. In spite of air of vagueness, it is definitely heart-grabbing. We are at once startled by the appearance of these mysterious creatures who lay the very foundation of the supernatural atmosphere that will hold us enthralled throughout the drama. Macbeth and Banquo are passing through the heath where they come across the weird sisters. Macbeth listens to their prophecies. He cannot believe that he will someday become the Thane of Gedor and the King of Scotland. While Macbeth is between his belief and disbelief, Banquo asks the witches if they can say something about his future. The witches reply that he cannot be the king, but his future generations will ascend the throne. The seed of ambition, which is already there in Macbeth's mind, begins to germinate after his fateful meeting with the weird sisters. The three witches have planted the germ of unholy ambition in Macbeth's mind. From now, he never looks back. His wife, Lady Macbeth, goads him towards the kingship. He, in complicity with his wife, kills his guest and the king and usurps the Scottish throne. To make his throne safe, Macbeth goes on killing spree. Banquo is the first victim, then Macduff's wife and his minor child is slaughtered. All this is the result of the predictions of the witches. The Banquo's ghost is also a very supernatural element in the play. In the banquet scene, whenever Macbeth refers to Banquo's name, he says Banquo's ghost sitting on the chair earmarked for him. Macbeth is guilty, and whenever he looks in the natural land or in supernatural world, he can find the witches, the ghost, and the apparitions. Lady Macbeth very tactfully maintains the scene, yet Macbeth's guilt becomes almost clear to the pupil. The ghost of Banquo adds a mysterious romantic strangeness to the drama. Besides, the portents that follow the murder of Duncan also heighten the supernatural atmosphere. The owl clamors all through the night. Duncan's horses devour each other in frenzy. The dawn comes, but no light in it, lamenting in the air. The crying of the crickets, the light thickening after sunset, and the home coming of the rocks are all ominous. Thus, the supernatural agencies heighten the lurid effect of the atmosphere and play a decisive part in the actions. Thank you very much for watching this video. For more videos, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.